Okay, in today's video, we're going to be using 3 units. These are going to be different again. One person buys 5 pounds of oranges and 8 pounds of apples for $11.47. Another person buys 3 pounds of oranges and 2 pounds of apples for $4.25. Find the cost of a single pound of oranges and a single pound of apples. It's cost, so if we get decimals, it's fine. Okay? So that's 3 units. Okay? Don't make the box ginormous. Okay, so you got together, how many units per unit, and total. Okay, so you got oranges and apples. So you got dollars total and dollars per unit. Now you look at the dollars total, and here's the deal. There's 2 of them. This and this. That's 2 totals, so you're putting them both in here. Put them in the order they appear in the problem. So 11.47, 4.25. And both those are going to be equations. So we're obviously going to have 2 equations. We see that right away. Now, because I put 2 numbers in that box and everything else needs 2 numbers, okay? Every other column. So I see a 5, that's oranges, that's how many, it's not money. And I see an 8, that's apples. 5 needs to go across from the 8 though. Then, those are gone. Now later on I see a 3 and a 2, 3 pounds of oranges and 2 pounds of apples. Those go across. Now you can add these, they don't really help you solve the problem, but they'll cover a box. And then 3 plus 2 is 5. Now again, you're not putting anything there. Now here's the deal. You don't have any more numbers. You have nothing else. So you have to have this be an x variable and this be a y variable. Now use x, x, y, y because they're 2 different people, but the cost per unit of orange is going to be the same for both guys. And then apple is going to be a different cost, but it's the same for both guys. So then I find the products I take. I have to take 5 times x and 3 times x. And I've also got to take 8 times y and 2 times y. These are easy products. 5x, 3x, and then 8y and 2y. And then you see the equations right there. So you're going to have 2 of them, so you make a cross. And then 5x plus 8y equals $11.47. And then 3x plus 2y equals 4.25. Now don't be going a million miles an hour here. There's no base, so you set up, and you don't have the same anywhere. Okay? Nowhere do you have the same, so you have to multiply to make the x's the same. You make the y's the same too, but it's easier to just do the first column. So I times 3 on top, and I times 5 on bottom. So I multiply the rest of this by 3, and the rest of this by 5. So 3 times 5x is 15x. 3 times 8y is 24y. And then I take 3 times 11.47, and that's 34.41. You got to get the decimal in. You can't be going so fast you don't put the decimal. Okay, then 15x. 2y times 5 is 10y. And then 4.25 times 5 is 21.25. You can't miss a decimal or you're going to get screwed up. Okay, you have the same, but you need a negative and a positive so that it adds to 0. So a negative, and then the 10y would be negative, and then that'd be negative. So there's 0x, eliminate that. Okay, then I take 24 plus negative 10, that's 14y. 34.41 plus negative, you got to get the negative, 13.16. Now that looks really weird, just trust me, okay? divide by 14, divide by 14. None of this rounding crap when you get decimals because you're finding cost. So 13.16 divided by 14, 0.94, that's fine, that's 94 cents, okay? So I go into Y's, both of them put 0.94, so apples cost 94 cents per pound. Then, to find the other answer, the x, write your first equation, 5x plus 8y equals 11.47, and then 0.94 replaces the y. Scribble it out, okay? Okay, multiply those two. So I take 8 times 0.94. 7.52. It's just 7.52. Y is gone, Holmes, okay? So it's 5x plus 7.52 equals 11.47. So on the x is not by itself. What are the operations? It's got a times and a plus. Circle the times. So you minus 7.52. And that's going to be 3.90, or no, excuse me, 4.95. Wait a second, let me just do it. Good thing I did that. 3.95, 0.95. And you divide by 5. And that's going to get you your X answer, which is the cost of the oranges. So 0.79. Okay, next one. Angie and Kenny play online video games. Angie buys one software package and 3 months of gameplay. She pays a total of $65. You see the 3 units underlined. Kenny buys one software package and 2 months of gameplay. He plays a total of $50. Find the cost of a single software package and the cost of a single month of gameplay. So you have the together amount, how many units per unit, and total. Okay, so software packages, months of gameplay, MGP, then cost and cost. Okay, so together, what's the total together? Well, you got 2 of them. You got 65 and 50. Put them in the order, both of them. So you got 2 of them. So every other box is going to have 2 things that I fill in. Okay, non-money numbers. I have 1 software package, 3 months of gameplay. Since those are in the same sentence, they go right there. Then 1 software package and 2 months of gameplay. So you can add those, that's 4, and add those, that's 3. Not that that helps, but... And we don't have any other numbers, so x, x, and y, So I need to take 1 times x and 1 times x, and then 3 times y, and 2 times y. So that's 1x. That's 1x. So down here I'm going to have 1x, 1x, and then 3y and 2y. Okay, you see your 2 equations, plain as day, down on the bottom. These are not equations up here. To be an equation, it has to have variables. Okay, 1x plus 3y equals 65, and then 1x plus 2y equals 50. I don't think you need to multiply because you already have the same thing there. You just need one of them to be negative, 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 and then you'll get your 0x right there. 3 plus negative 2 is 1y. 65 plus negative 50 is 15. You're always plussing. Divide by 1, you get 15. So go to your y's, and we have now found that the cost of a month of gameplay is $15. Now the cost of a software package, you write your first equation. Doesn't matter where. and you put 15 in for y. So we got to take 3 times 15, that's 45. Okay, not 45y, stop that. Okay. Y's out, 15's in. Instead of 3 times y, it's 3 times 15, that's 45. Minus 45, that's 20. So 1x equals 20. So divide by 1, you're just at 20. Okay, that one was kind of nice because we had our 0 right away. So $20 for the cost of a software package. Okay, 2 schools buy helmets and uniforms from a store. The school buys 5 helmets and 7 uniforms for $250. The other school buys 7 helmets and 10 uniforms for $354. Find the cost of a single helmet and the cost of a single uniform. So you have 3 units. So together, then how many units per unit in total? So the helmets and the uniforms, and money. Money total, there's 2, 250 and 354. Okay, so 5 helmets, 7 units. Again, all these numbers I have left go in the top row. They're not money amounts, it's how many. 5 helmets, 7 uniforms. 7 helmets, 10 uniforms. So I add those, it's 12. I add these, it's 17. So XX, YY. So 5 times X followed by 7 times X, and then we have to take 7 times the Y, and the 10 times the Y. So it's 5X and 7X. And then 7y and 10y. Okay, there's your 2 equations. Line them up, stack them. So you got 5x plus 7y equals $250. Then we have 7x plus 10y equals $354. No, none of them are the same, so you have to multiply. So times 7 times 5, and then those will be the same, but I have to remember to multiply the rest of that by 7 and the rest of this by 5. So it's 35x plus 49y, and then 7 times 250 is 1,750. On the bottom, you're going to have 35x, 50y, and then 354 times 5 is 1,770. Okay, add negative 0x, and then the negative there and the negative there. So 49 plus negative 50 is negative 1y. Get rid of that. Then I take the 1,750 plus the negative 1,770, and that's negative 20. So I divide by negative 1, and y equals 20. So go into your table where y's at, and we now know that that's $20. That's your uniforms. Okay, now write your first equation. 5x plus 7y equals 250. So 20 replaces the y. So instead of 7 times y, it's 7 times 20, which is 140. So we have 5x plus 140 equals 250. So minus 140, minus 140, and that's 110. So 5 times x equals 110. Then you divide each side by 5, and x equals 22. So the helmets cost $22. Okay, last one. Jillian and Tyson are shopping for supplies. Jillian needs 3 balls of yarn and 1 set of needles for $21.95. Tyson buys 1 ball of yarn and 2 sets of needles for $12.65. Find the cost of a single ball of yarn and the cost of a single set of needles. Okay, so together, how many units per unit in total? So you have yarn and needles, and money over per unit, money over total. So the two total amounts are $21.95 and then $12.65. Okay, now all this is how many? So 3 balls of yarn, 1 set of needles. 3, 1. 1 ball of yarn, 2 sets of needles, so that makes 4, that makes 3. So I don't have anything else, so I've put my variables in. So I take 3 times x, 1 times x, 1 times y, 2 times y. So that's 3x and 1x, that's 1y and 2y. So I stack 3x on 1x and 1y on 2y. And it's just a matter of not messing up. 3x plus 1y equals 21.95. 1x plus 2y equals $12.65. Nothing's the same, so you have to multiply by 1 and by 3. So on top, 1 times 3x is 3x, 1y, and then 21.95. Then on bottom, 1x times 3 is 3x, 2y times 3 is 6y. Then I take a calculator, 12.65 times 3, 37.95. Okay, you got the same right there, you just got to make one of them into a negative. But then the 6y is negative, and so is the 37.95. So I have 0x. Then I take 1 plus negative 6, it's negative 5y. And I take the 21.95 plus the negative 37.95, and that's negative 16. So it all ends up good, because I'm dividing by a negative. That always results in a positive. .2. Now, 3.2 is okay, you just need to put a 0 so it looks like an actual money amount. Okay? So 3.20 is the cost of the needles, and the cost of the yarn. Just use your 3x plus 1y equals 21.95, and then 3.20 is your y. Okay, 1 times 3.20 is 3.20. Put that there, so it's now 3x plus 3.20 equals 21.95. So now I have times and plus. You minus first. Okay, 3 times x. When I minus, I get 18.75, and then divide by 3. And that's going to be 6.25. Okay. Okay. And we've solved the puzzle.